All right. Are we live? We good?
I think so.
All right,
Yes, we
great.
are, Alvin. Go ahead.
We're gonna start right on time today. It's 101. Thank you everybody for joining us here. Good afternoon, good morning, maybe. Um, my name's Alvin. I serve as the Chief Security Officer at MSP Corp. Our work spans thousands of organizations across Canada, and the conversation that we're really having today affects every one of them, including everybody that's on this call. Email remains the primary channel of trust in a business. I think we've all kind of had those experiences of, that kind of sketchy phishing email that potentially came in that tried to trick our users. But it's for a reason, because it's the number one vector used to compromise that trust that you have with either your vendors or your clients. So what we're really talking about is DMARC today. It's not about a technical configuration. It's about more about, I would say, business decisions, about protecting identity, reputation, and confidence people have in our brand, your clients' brands. Um, so when, your customers, clients, partners, patients, suppliers, citizens receive an email from you, because those are all different areas, from cities to, private organizations. We want to make sure that that they trust is there and it really truly is from you. So today we're excited to collaborate with Palisade. I got Salmon on the call. He's
Hey
going to back
guys.
us up today. You couldn't speak to anybody better than Sam right now about this. And with their deep understanding of the challenges that businesses operate, Sam lived, breathed all of this on a daily basis. Silicon Valley, Montreal homegrown, and saw a really major issue that it was a global problem, and it affects every single one of the businesses around the world today. So really excited to kick this off. And yeah, let's jump right into it. I think I kind of did that intro already, right, Sam? We were supposed to do a little bit of an intro of what are we doing here, right? I think that was kind of it. But I'll
Yeah,
let you
thank you
give your
so
little.
much.
I'll let you give a better version maybe than what I gave. Go ahead.
No, I think you did a great job. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I'm Sam, CEO and co-founder of Palisade. I've built multiple tech companies, lived in the US, yeah, in San Francisco in the Valley for a while. Came back to build my next company in Montreal because I think it's a great place to build. There's a lot of talent here. And yeah, stumbled upon this problem as I was doing other technical challenges at my previous company. And I was like, someone should try to fix how all emails are configured and protected. I thought it was pretty crazy that we were still copy pasting DNS records and DNS managers. And we started to design and build a solution to automate that. And we think everyone on the planet is using email. It's not going anywhere. And it just should be easy to make sure your emails are secured and land in the inbox and not in spam.
Yep. So I think just the only thing I would add on all of this is that in today's session, we're really hoping that you're going to get out of this a lot more clarity. We're hoping to provide some clarity to show how we can remove potentially complexity out of what you're doing and how you're managing email deliverability. Let's put it in that bigger kind of context. It's email deliverability that we're really kind of talking about here. And that's kind of linked to your main initiatives as an organization that's driven from the top down, which is servicing your customers. Let's make sure we can do that. And let's protect our brand identity, our image, because it's everything. It's the trust that we build our foundation on for whatever we're doing with, like I said, citizens, customers, clients, vendors, whatever that is. And we're hoping to show you a path of how you could potentially build that trust instead of friction with both your internal teams and your who are managing your IT, right? Because everything gets blamed on them for sure, right? You guys are probably all here. So we're hoping to help those people with some tools. Because at the end of the day, anybody who knows ITIL, it's people, process, and technology, right? So that technology part is extremely important. And we've had a lot of technology in this area. But the reason why MSP Corp partners with certain vendors is because they bring a unique value. We're kind of like F1 teams in the MSP Corp world, and we have multiple cars in the race, and we're really trying to build with the best works partner that we can. You know, like Red Bull has Honda. You know, we have Palisade on the side of DMARC, so it's kind of cool to bring them in to our Guardian Shield DMARC. Our Guardian Shield is our MDR managed detection and response product that's backed with a set of other vendors that come together with the solution. And then Guardian DMARC comes in to kind of round this all out for us and to offer, you know, a complete package to customers to really, at the end of the day, ensure we meet those board objectives of image and, you know, image, brand, reputation, but also just lowering our risk. So, Sam, I think we covered it. I think we did it, right?
Yeah.
We covered what is everybody doing here?
Yeah, that's pretty clear to me. Learn
Okay.
more about email deliverability and DMARC, that new acronym that is pretty confusing.
Yeah. But at the same time, we've got 3 people on this call that will probably help to kind of, you know, remove any of that, you know, the murky waters, or clear up the murky waters that we all navigate. So I introduced myself already. I'm Alvin, Chief Security Officer at MSP Corp. I get the pleasure of working with individuals such as Sam and Ben, of course, who's coming here to join us, because it's really great to have technology, but we really need to make sure as an MSP, we're delivering that in the right way. Everybody knows you can buy technology, but if you didn't implement it correctly and you're not having the ongoing governance of it and you don't have a team to help support you on it, you're gonna have a problem. And that's where Ben comes in. So Ben's worked really closely with Sam over the last several months, actually, to help put together a program with a lot of other people, by the way, in our organization, not to, you know, a lot of other people. And that ranges from our account executives down to the people who are actually going to be implementing and managing the solution. I think you got Sam already, CEO, co-founder.
Yeah, Ben has been invaluable deploying DMARC at MSP Corp. So, and all of his feedback has shaped how we've built the newest features in the platform.
A little bit about MSP Corp. I think a lot of you may know already, but I'll just touch on this really quickly if you didn't. We actually we're right across the country, which is pretty exciting, which gives us really nice support. Actually, we have a national reach, but we are very, very, this is based off of our roots, actually, is we make sure that we adapt our reach to be very local. Boots on the ground in that city is really important. So I'll leave it at that. I'll skip this slide. Anybody wants more information, contact us. Okay, the agenda slide. Let's do this one. We're gonna find out what DMARC is because it's an acronym, right? Why it matters, why anyone cares. In the legal terms, we always want to know, like, why are you looking at this? Why is it important? And what do I need to do with it, right? I work with a lot of legal counsel as a CSO for everything from, you know, policies and breaches, but that's really at the core of it, of what we want to know. Yes, there's an AI-powered protection with Palisade. That's actually the real differentiating component. And at the scale that I've seen Palisade operate, it's pretty impressive. And there is no way that a person, a human, is going to be able to do this. And I'll just touch on this really quickly because everyone thinks that like AI is going to replace people. No, AI will replace people who don't know how to use AI. And that's really what it is. That's the better, I think. So this is really great because the tools that we have that are powering the people in the process now have an AI component to help to deliver this service better. And our teams are working with this tool with the power of AI behind it to facilitate, remove friction, and to deliver emails, better deliverability of emails. But we'll get into that. Real world impacts, effortless deployment, and it's all about a shared responsibility anyways, right? Risk is never ever transferred completely, right? You still own that risk. As every organization on this planet, we own our risk, and it's a shared responsibility for us to take control, to manage our DNS correctly, to ensure that somebody can spoof it and send Sam, myself, or we're looking at this all the time. And there's some crazy stats we'll look at. We'll get into it. Let's go. What is DMARC?
What is
Sam,
DMARC?
what is DMARC?
Yeah, DMARC is a scary acronym, but basically DMARC is the set of rules that tells the internet who's allowed to send emails on your domain's behalf and who's not allowed to send emails on your domain's behalf. So DMARC prevents hackers and spoofer to send fake emails from your domain. And that is something that is increasing at an alarming rate with also the rise of artificial intelligence, because now it's easier than ever to create fake campaigns to send from your brand's domain. So the big email service providers like Microsoft, Google, Yahoo are all requiring DMARC now, or adding an important DMARC component to judging if they are going to deliver your emails in the inbox or to spam. So basically, in that case, email security and deliverability come together. So if you secure your email properly, they will land in the inbox and not in spam.
It's pretty. Sorry, I'm just gonna make a comment here because you made me think about something. I thought about this before we were joining. The CIA triad, right? Confidentiality, integrity, and availability, right? For in security.
Yeah.
And it's cool because you mentioned two things in there. Everyone often forgets that security and availability go hand in hand. You need to have both together. And that's kind of what we're talking about here. It's about making sure we have security so that we're also doing our part, the shared responsibility, and also making sure that things are available. It's why cybersecurity is not a department, and it should be interwoven inside of the entire organization.
Exactly. It goes through every practice.
Yeah. I like this diagram, by the way, because we have actually better diagram. We have an even better one, the favorite one, the bouncer one coming up, I think, right? Want to keep going? Keep going, Sam?
Yeah, that's why I wanted to keep going, to use the good old analogy.
I will try to keep going as soon as there we go. Hold on. I don't know. I skipped like a whole bunch. No, I didn't. Yeah, there we go. All right.
Yeah,
we kind of talked. Yeah, we're gonna touch on this on this a little bit, right?
Yeah. So if your brand or domain is victim at large scale or at small scale of phishing attacks going through your domain's reputation is going to decrease rapidly. And if your domain's reputation decrease, then your emails are going to land in the inbox and it's going to be very hard to recover. So that's very costly for organizations of any type in any industry, really. Creates, of course, brand damage. If someone is victim of a phishing attack that comes from your domain that hackers have been engineering, it's definitely bad, and it's going to come out either in PR, either in lawsuits, either in just bad reputation, word of mouth. In terms of financial loss, also lawsuits, insurance premiums that can go up. It's problematic in so many type of ways that I guess you can imagine. So you need to protect your brand and your domain. Basically, your domain is directly associated with your brand, and it's something you start building from the start with your business. And if your reputation, brand reputation, just in terms of email is greatly damaged, it's really hard to recover. So that's what DMARC helps protecting, making
Um,
sure, go for it.
yeah. Continue. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Oh, no worries. Making sure that no one can destroy your brand's reputation, your domain's brand reputation.
The funny part about this is that there's always two sides where we can look at the how we doing on time, by the way? We're good. And by the way, FYI, I was still telling anybody who has questions and stuff, you're free to come, like we can unblock you. You can, if you want to talk to us in person, like this is a very, open kind of
Open
type of
conversation.
conversation. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
really happy to talk with you, speak with you. The other thing too is I'm gonna pre say that I am clearly not the best at navigating PowerPoint slides, apparently. So if I mess up and I go back and forth, please do forgive me on that. The other part, yeah, about what you were saying, Sam, and we talked about this when we were kind of reviewing the deck, and it was really on this slide that it highlighted. We talk about a threat actor, but there's two sides to this where it could also just be legitimate. I'm a good intentioned sysadmin or developer, and we've literally seen this in the last month or so happen where um, email deliverability can break if you don't have the correct visibility and management of your DMARC. And what it can
Yep.
actually do is that, think about it, if you're sending out all of your business communications and workflows through some sort of automated ERP process that's using email, very common, extremely common.
Who
One
doesn't do
bad,
that these days?
yeah, one mistake, one mistake, Carol, that you didn't have the visibility on or deliverability on, bang, you just stop processing whatever your business is doing, and it could have, depending on how you've set that up, fixing that could be extremely
Valuable.
extremely difficult. And when I look at this number 137,000, that's a number that's like, people put on the books because that's how much it costs for your legal counsel, for, your incident response, for us to do any discovery and whatever, and then, email out or offer some sort of, compensation. But it's really hard on the technical people, on the business, not just technical, on the business itself. And that pain and suffering, I've seen it firsthand, I've experienced it firsthand, and I would go higher than 137,000. Sorry, that's my own personal. I think you muted, by the way. I think you hit the mute
Oh,
button.
oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
there you go. Yeah,
That's why most of the time it's not done properly.
yeah,
And imagine actually on the other side, if you do that job properly and authenticate your emails properly and implement DMARC properly, and then you get 40, 50% more in open rates. Like an example also I'd like to think about is that, we all pay a lot of money to test email content, to have like really qualified marketing and communication people to, keep our customers informed about what we do with the business. And then a large percentage of these emails are going to spam because your work is
yeah,
not done and basically your sending machine is not tuned properly. It's like you're a bit like we were talking about the race cars. Like you have a race car, you're paying zillions of dollars to have great driver, but you're not
yeah,
optimizing or doing the maintenance on your car. That's
absolutely.
that's a lot of money that's left on the table. And uh, before when I first got into DMARC, I realized I was creating a huge advantage for us in terms of deliverability, but that advantage has actually grown exponentially over time because now security is more important than ever, and security goes with deliverability. So it went from like a nice power up to a necessity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, we're supporting those top line business initiatives, right? Brand reputation, image, security, and of course the making sure customers can get what they need, right? Availability, opening rates of emails, right, to them. I think I see stuff coming in the chat. If relevant, please, Ben, Lisa, interrupt us. We're happy to take them on as we're going. Let's hope I can click through this correctly this time. AI powered with Palisade. All right, perfect. Okay, hey, this is the one. Okay, so yeah, so simplifying DMARC with AI. This actually, before Sam goes, this was presented to us. This is how we presented to our internal people, and we loved it so much that it was so great. I feel like there's not enough of this type of analogy used in the security world, and we really need to kind of simplify things, make it more relatable to us, right? So I'll let you take this one because this is your magic. So go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was a time in my life where I used to go to bars, and I kind of made the analogy of DMARC is a bit like the doorman at the bar letting people in. Basically, DMARC is the protocol that lets people send emails from your domain. And it's a bit the same with that process at a bar. So basically, an SPF record for your domain is like a guest list. It tells the internet which apps and which third-party application or services are allowed to send emails from your domain. So you need to modify that list and configure it properly to have the proper guest list. The other one that we often hear about, DKIM. DKIM is like an ID check. So it checks the email and makes sure that the content has not been altered and that the email really comes from where it says it comes from. And the DMARC policy is basically the instructions from the boss on what to do if the person trying to get in, if the email doesn't meet the SPF record, the guest list, or doesn't meet the ID check. So basically, if you have a policy of none, which most domains have, I think it's 85% of domains have a DMARC policy of none. It's kind of the standard, like I would say, not very useful policy. It just lets everyone in either way. If you want to make sure that no one can send fake emails from your domain, you use a quarantine policy, which is basically tells if that email doesn't check, put it in spam. So that's a higher security level. And the reject policy is basically an email needs to pass the guest list and needs to be identity controlled to be able to be delivered. And that's when your emails really get secured. And that's the reject policy. And it takes a lot of reading complicated reports, and that's where our AI comes into play. So basically our AI ingests all of that data, surfaces the problems, the configuration problems, and creates remediation options automatically. So I hope this makes it clearer. So basically SPF, guest list, who's allowed to send emails from your domain, basically who's allowed to come in the email server, DKIM identity check, and DMARC policy, what to do if not passing the SPF or DKIM records.
I have a question, actually. I have a question. So as more and more people are getting, because not everybody, like we said, I think there's some stats. I don't know if we have the stats up. I'm not too sure we have the stat. I'm just scrolling through this because I'm not too, yeah, okay. So I was looking to see if we had the stats in there, but we were looking at the stats, right? What was it? It was something like, it was like 20% of businesses only have it correctly configured. Sorry, that's what we were saying, right? I think fact check my stats, okay? So yeah, 20%. It was low. It was lower than, there was a 33 and there was 20, but it was lower than 33. So it was 20%. Let's just pretend it was the 20%. And that means that they have it, but they actually didn't just configure it correctly. And that's, I believe, Canadian businesses. And globally, the stats are pretty bad, actually. So I think it's like a question or maybe comment. I don't know. But as I think most people are going to be putting into quarantine. Does that make sense? They're going to put it into spam, right? So that they could kind of review. Whereas a block would like flat out just, I'm so sorry, you've been completely rejected, right? So, yeah. I mean, yeah, we're not going to be there yet. We're going to be in the quarantine level because the block, as more and more people get the DMARC and the statistics start coming up, we're going to be able to do that. And it falls back into, I believe, the everybody shared responsibility thing, right? Does it make sense? We're kind of, yeah.
100%, 100%. Like, I think it's not necessary for everyone to go to P-reject, but like quarantine level is definitely
The
happening right
minimum
now. So
baseline.
yeah,
Yeah.
and 85% of the domains are not protected from that at the moment. So it means that 85% of the domains out there are missing out on a lot of potential revenue also coming from a better deliverability.
I think that was it. We were talking about the top 1 million domains, something like 750,000 of them can technically
Yeah,
be used to spoof to be to fish you,
to send fake emails. Yeah,
send
it's
fake
crazy.
emails and fish you. Let that sink in for like 5 seconds. How big the problem
Yeah,
actually is. It's massive.
that's why the big email service providers are taking action to force
Yeah,
everyone to do it. And
yeah.
just to put a little bit of timeline context, this happened in May 2025. So this is really recent.
Which is really important to note, right? Because just even staying on top of it, that's kind of also a power of working with a tool that kind of stays on top of this stuff and also helps us to meet these types of compliance. Because I bet you, not a lot of people even knew that. Like this was like a thing, right? They might have sent emails out, notified people. You might have read it on the news, but it often gets forgotten, right? And then that's why when we look at an MSP, what we do is that MSPs can't be perfect. We can do the best to manage and balance, the business and the requirements that they have with security, availability, and all the tools. And that's really what we're trying to do here. We're really trying to just balance everything so that the customers have a good experience and employees have a good experience. Real world impact and effortless deployment. Cool. Um, so email deliverability, 42% inbox rate. Explain.
Yeah, increase in open rates. So we have at this point, we monitor hundreds of millions of emails per month. So we have a lot of data, and on average, people that have implemented DMARC fully get 42% more open rates on their emails. So that is a significant improvement. I used to have a little e-commerce business on the side when during COVID. Who hasn't? And when sending emails, having a 42% increase in open rate would make such a difference for our revenues. So it's very, very significant. And that's the same for any type of service business too. If you're sending invoices that are not making it through, if you're doing lead generation or just follow up with leads after going at conferences or meeting people, it's just it's a no-brainer for me. So that's why I started this company. I was like, everyone should have that. It's just that it's too complicated. It's too many acronyms and technical stuff. We need to make that accessible to everyone.
We knew for a really long time in the MSP world, we knew for a really long time that DMARC was important. And even when everybody went to M365, we'd often see DMARC just not configured. We would audit 365 and it would just not be configured. And that was one of the things we just immediately activate, right? It was like the basics, the one-on-one for us. But there was a lot of tools out there, but even with those tools, they did what they did at the time, and they were doing their best with the resources that they had at the time. But they were still very reliant on the human factor, and
Yeah.
and that I love humans. I really do. I love them. But they are also my last point of defense, and the ones that are going to be, that it's the humans that will be entering scanning the QR code and entering the credentials into the fake website and, doing whatever. but also the humans that are going to be really tired because their IT have, they're in IT and they have to get to this. This is how they see it sometimes. I've got to get to DMARC and do this, right? So facilitating it with technology, with a process wrapped around it, I think is very important. It's very, very important, especially in something so important for the business, right? And I don't think the at the C level, I'll be honest with you, Sam, I'm not too sure the C level understands. It's almost, I think they think about, ransomware, endpoint attacks, but business email compromises are top concern for sure in terms of their risk. But the how it could potentially happen to them, and the DNS is often, kind of forgotten, but it really, I don't think it should be at all. And even by IT admins, I know for a fact because I work in auditing as well, so I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I
There's
think
there's also a portion of this that we say that DMARC is protecting not just the domain that you are sending your emails at, but a lot of you might also be sitting on multiple domains, even if you don't use it. Maybe you have coolcompany.com and both coolcompany.ca, and you only send from .com. Well, without a DMARC record, even though you don't use coolcompany.ca, you put a DMARC record in, and even if you just set it to reject and you have no email sending, that tells the world you do not use this domain to send email. So DMARC can still help even when you're not using a domain. It tells the world, hey, I am coolcompany.com. I do not use coolcompany.ca for email. And if you get an email from coolcompany.ca at this moment, just reject it. So it's not just what you send, it's also what you're not sending.
100%. Good point, Ben.
Yeah. See, that's why we invite Ben to these calls, right? It's like getting that different perspective, right? Straight from the people who are running it and the operations side, because they see it all the time, right? And we have companies that so we do this risk kind of profile on businesses. Like you could actually just send us your domain and we could do like a whole risk profile on it. And like look on dark web and a whole bunch of things. Actually, there'll be a call to action at the end. If you want one of those, like feel free to reach out. We can help you out. But not the point of this call. But however, on the side note is we see them with a ton of domains. And what ends up happening is that a lot of businesses are in either acquisition or merger. Hi, been there, done that. So we know that you have to take what was registered. How do you know? So we start with like a discovery of, going like at least 4 levels deep in terms of what domains are associated with your business. And then second is, what are the domains that you actually use? And then third is, who are these other domains that you have and what are you doing with them? And why are some of them routing to some sort of like open RDP server or whatever? So that's kind of the three. This is like a real thing that we see. And so, and business often don't know about it because, again, you need to be powered with tools. And if you got the tools and you have the visibility, like Ben said, then you can take decisions and we can protect those domains from, again, it's our due care and due diligence. Everybody, like I say, ours, yours, Sam's, everybody on this call, you have to take care and due care and diligence of your domain. By the way, if your domain is found to be used to, launch a phishing attack against an organization, I can assure you, depending on the region that you are in Canada, it's not very good. So there are certain implications that could occur. But yeah, so good point, Ben. Thank you for bringing that up.
If there's suspicious activity happening from your domain, you want to know. And there's no way of knowing if you don't have a DMARC system implemented.
When I look at the platform from Palisade, when I look at it and I see all of this, sorry, I'm going to point 3 actually on this slide right here. And I see all of you have the visibility that I didn't know that was possible actually. So the level of visibility that you have. And does that have to do with the way the system is built and like how it's able to have visibility on the main internet, service providers in terms of, sorry, I said service provider, email providers and, delivery. Is that kind of how it works? Can you like enlighten us about, how do you do this? How do you do this magic? How do you do this? Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, it sounds complicated, but we can abstract it to make it pretty simple. So when you send an email and you have a DMARC record on your domain, the recipient server is sending you a report back every day saying, oh, today we've received all of those emails from your domain, and it attach a lot of information about that email, like SPF, DKIM, DMARC, encryption, envelope, like tons of stuff that is very technical. And we ingest all of that data, and we've built a proprietary machine learning model to analyze it and identify problems with your domain or server. So basically, in our platform, we ask you, hey, is it normal that you're sending emails from Salesforce right now, or from HubSpot, or from Outlook, or from MailChimp, and that these emails are failing in a certain way? So basically, we receive like millions of data points, analyze them, and then we ask you the right questions to determine if that should be happening or not. And depending on if that is happening, if that should be happening or not, we propose you the right solution to fix the problem. So it's on one end digesting a lot of data, and on the other end having AI agents that are crafting the solution for those problems that we detected.
Yeah, that's I think it's one of those things where it's like when you see it, it's pretty impressive. But the way that I look at it, and by the way, the data points that you're seeing coming into Palisade are really impressive. It's like it's just continuous data points coming in, and it's constantly analyzing everything for you live. And then giving you this kind of score also about, hey, by the way, you're at like about 82%. You're like, 82? Why am I not at 100? It's like, what's going on? But you can go in and you can see very clearly why you're not at 100. And 82 is good, by the way. 82 is good. 82 will get your emails delivered. You'll get into the bar, you'll pass through, you'll get to you'll get to the champagne room. I don't know if you're gonna have any champagne, but you'll get to the champagne room. So, but that said is yeah, no, it's pretty impressive how it works on the back end. We're building trust also with your insurers, right? And any kind of customers that you're dealing with. Because
Yeah.
even if you're doing mergers and acquisitions, by the way, they're gonna look at this stuff. They like pull these profiles on you, right? So if you just look good. That's your image, right? You just look good. You look like, oh, they know what they're doing. They've got this set up correctly. Um, by the way, I'm going to make sure we're going to leave a few minutes for everybody. God, we've got some questions in here. So, hey, I'm just going to go through what we do. So we do work with Palisade. We have a Guardian DMARC product, literally, that was set up with Sam and his team. It's fantastic. Ben leads with the West, not on this call, maybe on this call, not sure. So East Coast, West Coast, and then we meet in the middle, right? And but they're leading this on an operational point of view, making sure that we understand how to first of all just get the products in your hand, just get the product, okay? Just get the product. A, B, work with you to configure, set up, and then also make sure that we monitor this ongoingly. And if there is actually any kind of tickets that may be opened up because of these incidents that may be serious enough for us to take a look at, that's kind of important, right? And that kind of goes back to, are you looking at your alerts? Do you see your alerts? And that was like number one thing that people just fail to do, right? And everyone's EDR alerts, but then there's MDR alerts, and then there's like email alerts, and then there's like these alerts for DMARCs. There's a lot of alerts, so that's one of the things that definitely we're going to be able to provide some assistance on. I think we arrived at the the shared responsibility. It's obviously can be weaponized. I think we talked about that in a variety of different ways, right? And I mean, sometimes we talk weaponization, but it's an insider problem, and it's not often a malicious insider. It's just by accident. So DMARC protects the broader digital ecosystem, absolutely, and it's our ethical responsibility to do. And it's funny, we had a business ethics question come up, a few times about, if somebody says no to something that's really critical for the business and the security, what's our responsibility as an MSP? You know, regardless, you said no, all right? Do I hold you accountable? I know these are ethical questions, but this is another one where it's, you know, you might not realize, but our siblings or our parents or our daughters and sons or cousins could be impacted indirectly because of this. So this is like a personal thing. This is what I'm trying to get at, right? And yeah, they put a quote there for me, which is everyone has a role to play in protecting your domain from being spoofed. When we each take responsibility, we prevent attackers from hijacking our identities and harm others, disrupting business, damaging reputation, and ultimately threatening the livelihoods. Because at the end of the day, what drives our national cyber tactical and operations is the fact that when we see some sort of attack happen, this is email compromise too. Business can stop, business can be impacted. People literally can stop working. And that's kind of something we want to avoid. Next steps. You can get one of these things, these really cool graphs and these really cool charts, these really cool assessments of your domain. And you just have to email cybersecurity@mspcorp.ca. It's very simple. We have the ability. Sam and his team have built in the ability for us to work with customers in a way that allows them to see what we're doing and then onboard them. They can see what they're doing. They can see the proof in the kind of the proof in the pudding, proof in the pie, whatever the term is, right? And it looks like I think Ben's been responding to things in the chat as we're going. I don't know if we got any chat. Let's just jump. I'm gonna jump to the chat here. I'm gonna go in. Hold on. Take a look. See what we got. Okay, so yes, Ben has been. So been wanting to use DMARC for hosted services. Finally, sorry, it's finding how did I perform my clients? Happy to see what MSP is bringing. Yeah, absolutely. What will it cost me? So I believe that we have a package. It's a custom package. It comes with a pack, I think, of how many domains? It was like but 3 or 5 domains, and it's really not expensive. It's like, sorry, was somebody coming online? No? Yeah. It's like about $20, I think, per month to do this. So really not expensive for you to have the deliverability. And what we do is actually we set it up for you. That will show you how it. If you have a domain and you want to take a look at it, and you're like, "Hey, assess this. I don't believe you." Like, we'll do it for you, and we'll show you, okay, what it can do, and then we can empower you with the tool as well. And in our case, it's also like a co-manage that we could do. And I think that what they're doing is they're trying to get like a special package, by the way. So I don't know if it was confirmed, the special package, but there was like a special package after this kind of like that we wanted to kind of really make sure that we got as many domains as we could possibly in there for you at like a really lowest price. So just reach out to us. We'll get you the price. You're gonna be able to afford it. This isn't you're not buying Palo Alto. Sorry, Palo Alto. It's really so it's fine.
And then there was the second question there from the chat. If you already have some hosting services with our hosting team, is this pre-configured? And the answer is this is something we would be working towards if you were more or less a new customer. But if you are a current customer, because DMARC is something that can severely affect your email deliverability, it is never something that we would turn on without contacting you and without proper reporting first. So when you turn on DMARC, it might say, oh, just add a record and we're fine. Yeah. As you can see on the slide here, you have a little bit of a preview of a report that tells us the delivery rate. So the way DMARC works, it is not something that is implemented on your email server. DMARC is something to tell other email servers, hey, here's how you handle certain things when you see an email that is saying it's from our domain. So it's not something, oh, I'm just going to move to p-reject and I'm just going to, that's it. It's one and done. You can't have that with DMARC. So we don't want to turn something on if you've had hosting services and just be, oh, hey, everybody's got DMARC on and we're done with it. We want to be absolutely sure that when we turn it on, we have data, we know who your senders are, which is what the other report's saying, if you just have Outlook, we might get, hey, everything, 100% of your emails are sent by Outlook. We know, we're good. But if you have an Outlook, you have your MailChimp, you have your HubSpot, and for some reason, let's say somebody forgot to put HubSpot, or you have both MailChimp and HubSpot, and you didn't know about one of them because one of them wasn't properly configured, that's not good. And that's the kind of stuff that the other email service is being like, hey, you said Gmail is telling us that somebody's sending from HubSpot, we see that your SPF and DKIM for HubSpot is not correctly configured. So if you had been at quarantine or reject, we would have followed it, which is why P-None, while not ideal, is good for an onboarding. So all that to say, we would never turn it on without telling you first.
Yeah, and also, as you said, Ben, it's not a one-time set and forget thing. It's a constant monitoring and adjustment process, like most other cybersecurity practices are. Things are changing, protocols are changing, the way that all of your apps are authenticating is changing, and threat actors also activities are changing. So you need to set it up, also monitor it once it's set up.
Yeah. And you know what's really funny is that actually the DNS login itself is actually one of the areas we see the most common, which is the least protected. Just a quick heads up, which is like really funny. I know it's like sounded like a side topic, but at the same time, when we look at what Ben was saying about MSP Corp and let's say you have hosting with a provider or with us, we are absolutely working with our hosting division with Palisade and how this could bring better security to our customers in there because it's extremely important. And there are a lot of issues that could be avoided if we have the right tools in place at these with the customers that are in our MSP Corp hosting. So it's something that we are absolutely on our horizon. And we're going to be working, like Ben said, we would never turn anything on. It's in a monitor. It's in a co-managed type of situation that we operate the best in. I think we're at time, by the way, guys. I don't think we have any more questions. I think we're at time. So it's 45, right? That we're supposed to stop is like something like that. Or are we going straight to the end of the hour? We can take more questions if anybody's got. Yeah.
I still got time if there's more questions.
Same.
I know this is a lot.
Just checking. I think. Anybody want to come on and say their question live? Feel free.
But oh, there we go, Barbara.
Yep. Correct. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. And we can provide you a PDF audit that you can circulate inside your company really easily. And once you're in Palisade, also you can decide to have, we call them QBR reports, but basically scheduled reports that would come to your inbox every week, every 2 weeks, every quarter to have a resume, like a overview, a summary of all the email activity that happened on your domain, how many threat we spotted, how many compliance email, how many emails that failed. So you can have that visibility scheduled delivered to you all the time. And to me personally, like it's just a no-brainer. Like email is such a central piece of every business's, and it's really affordable to set up DMARC deliverability and security. And after like setting up an MFA, like this is the biggest security vector or like gap in most businesses stack. So after the MFA, it's a no-brainer thing to set up, I feel like.
It's like one of those things that back in the day, I know most people have like security awareness training right now, right? But back in the day, security awareness training was, I mean, it was really cheap. It still is really inexpensive to get security awareness training, but it had the highest, it was the lowest amount that you could spend, and you got actually the highest yield of utility for every dollar you spent in there with security awareness training. The same kind of concept works here as well. Yep. I don't think we share the slide deck though, Lisa. Do we slide? I don't think so. I'm not too sure. I don't know. I'm like the CISO, the queen, so I don't really get to actually sign any kind of things. So yeah. Yeah, maybe you get the slide deck. We'll go with the maybe. So I'm a hopeful kind of guy. Yeah. Okay, we're emailing the video a little later today. Okay, great. Perfect. Thank you, Lisa. Great. Sam, honestly, I'm happy to hang out for a couple more minutes and just want to say thank you. Thank you to your team. Thank you for coming up with this idea. Really grateful to be working with you. It's a really, I know it seems trivial, but really, really tough problem for a lot of businesses. And the way that you built the platform is no short of impressive, from what I've seen. And yeah, so.
Appreciate that, and also I would return the compliment to MSP Corp. Like we wouldn't have been able to build everything if it wasn't to have you guys as a partner from almost the start, and that has been such a powerful vector of learning and feedback to have you guys with us. So couldn't be more of a fan of MSP Corp. Everyone working there has been nothing short of just super helpful and friendly. And yeah, I think like it's great to feel like we can build great Canadian companies here on Canadian soil. And um, thanks for the the feedback on this. I call it like style of the software. I think like for us, like style and design really matters. We're all like product engineers at the company, and making something that is looking good, feeling good, easy to use is just really, really important for us. And I think that's something that also is maybe a bit different from our team than most software in the industry, is that we come from a background of software engineering for consumers. We've built, iPhone apps, we built websites, we built like a lot of different products where usability was really, really important. So we bring our little style touch to the platform.
It is so clear that you do that because that's one of the things, every single button and every single actual tab, drop down menu and everything is placed in a way that the user experience, right, is top notch and it's all usable. There's no useless features in there. There's no things that like I don't need that. Why is that there? Everything that's there. That's the beautiful part about this platform is that it's purpose built to do its job and manage DMARC. That's really what it's there for. Records, your DNS, your email deliverability. Sorry, I limited it. Email deliverability. That's the core of it. So, because a lot more in there.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Yeah, great design is not when you can add more stuff, it's when you can't remove more stuff. It's all about removing the right things to make it simple and intuitive. So I think we've done a really good job at like keeping it simple and straightforward for everyone to use and learn rapidly, and adding the latest technology like artificial intelligence to speed up the workflow of everyone is really our goal. I think software is transitioning now from a platform where the user used to have to do a lot of actions to get the work done to actually the software doing the job for you and having the user just supervise that action. So
yeah, absolutely. It's a great point because we go back to the AI, right? It's not there to replace people. It's there to replace people who don't know or are not using AI for automation. It's automation. You got to automate certain things that just were taking you too much time so you can get that done, because what ends up happening is that it just doesn't get done. That kind of sucks.
Yeah, exactly. And people have tons of things to do, feel like there's more and more pressure on people to be able to get done more and more in every day. And having the right AI powered tools just enables you to do more work easier. For us, when we started building this, I was like, I can't believe that people still have to copy paste code into DNS manager to fix their DMARC. And that's kind of what started it. Still believe we solved that today, but still believe that's true, and that was way overdue.
You made me think about something of some individuals I had the pleasure of working with, some of my ex-colleagues, and I just thought about them right now as you were saying that because they were managing this kind of stuff, and I'm not too sure, but I know that I keep in pretty good contact with a lot of like ex-employees, like ex-colleagues, and things like that. So I think it's like time to reach out and sharing is caring, and I'm not here to sell them anything. I'm just here to actually share the information with them, right? Because I remember how much they struggled. I remember it was tough. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
people used to manage that in spreadsheets and have to do the record deployment like manually and set up reminders in their calendars to check if everything was good, and it just like made no sense to us. So that's why we started building a solution that would just make it easy for anyone with a bit of technical knowledge to be able to do that.
Sam, pleasure again, my friend.
Guys,
So, yep. Thank you. Ben, thank you for jumping on. Thank you to the entire MSP Corp team who put all of this together for us. Really appreciate all of you. Thank you for all the attendees and our customers who continue to trust us on this stuff, and the ones that are hoping to come and get some assessments with us. We're here to help you as well. So we're trying to do as much good as we possibly can. At the end of the day, we're really trying to do as much good and make sure that everything we do has some sort of value. We're not here to just sell you something. We want to make sure it's got value for you. So yeah, so we can help you do that. We're very happy at the end of the day. All right.
100%. Thanks everyone for attending and preparing the presentation. It was really fun to show you guys what we're working on so hard.
Amazing.
Bye, Alvin. You're the best.
Ciao.
Have a great day,
Take
guys.
care.